good half hour, 45 minutes, and then maybe we'll hit the beach. We'll see. Oh. And we are back in the Manimal Zone, and we have my ever stellar co-host, Kerry. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Fantastic. And on the other side of the camera today, we have Nerdy Jeremy, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
I know you're used to being on the other side of the camera, but I finally got the mobile podcast set up, and it's been really good. So Zoom, if you want to sponsor us, we have a Zoom podcast set up that's been working out really well. And I'd love it if you gave us more cool stuff.
We're a fan.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot. Hey, guys, shout me out.
We'll chug you out.
We'll shout you out. Yeah, this is episode 91.
Wow.
And I told myself we wouldn't look for a sponsor until we did 100 episodes. Now it's taken us like 4 years to do these 91 episodes. However, we're back to being pretty consistent now that I got the podcast set up.
Yeah. Because we didn't have a legit setup.
I guess you didn't want to fill in that space of talking. But,
I didn't know it was my
Jeremy,
turn.
what you been up to?
What have I been up to? Doing jiu-jitsu.
I heard you were looking to compete.
I'm looking to compete, I think, next month.
There's 2 guys in your division, which is perfect.
2 guys.
One is Ike.
One is Ike.
And I just went on Ike DeGon's podcast.
Yeah.
I made it up the stairs. My knee felt good. So now I know I'm ready to train too.
I made it up the stairs.
Yo,
I still have to lose another 10 pounds to do it, but...
You need to make it up Ike stairs or to do the event?
No,
both.
Yes, probably both. But yeah, is at 175. I checked it out. Mr. Isaac Feldman is signed up in that division.
That's a tough match.
Yeah,
actually.
I know. I've trained.
I don't know who I bet on.
He's definitely submitted me several times, so
we'd have to bet on Ike, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know how he's been training though.
But you've also been training a lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Ike, is hard because once he's in his house, it's hard to leave.
Yeah,
because then you have to think about 80 steps down, 80
the house. Like
he left the kid in the car once and just was like, "Fuck it, he's gonna have to stay there."
But he won't have to
just
worry.
kidding.
He won't have
to.
He won't.
It was a joke.
He wouldn't have to worry about making weight though. I would have to make weight.
Which means you have a weight advantage.
Not on a same day weigh-in. You're weighing in 2 hours before you compete.
That's true. Like Valhalla, if we ever do another one.
Yeah.
Odin, let me know.
When are we doing another one? Is a better question.
And you know what's crazy?
Like
everyone's always when are we
one?
doing another one? Because everyone's always hitting me up, and it's a lot of work, and the way we do an event, I do put a lot more into it than a local show. If you just do the show at your gym, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to have the level of showmanship that I put in. And I can't do it any other way. I want to do more, not less. That's why I'm always like, yo, who gave Craig Jones that freaking $3 million to run that show for $3 million? I mean, I would have had tigers out there. Like, literally, you would have rode the tiger into the stadium.
You would have had robots.
Well, if it was in Texas.
Tiger
robot. Oh, like Voltron.
Yeah.
So we've done, 3 shows now?
3 shows, and then the kids' event in Dan's that time.
Yeah.
Right.
So 3.5.
2
token chokes, 1 Valhalla, and then the BJJ Superheroes at Dan's. So call it 3.5 to 4 shows, depending how you want to look at it.
So if you were to do another show, what would you do?
I mean, I'd prefer to do Valhalla because then I'll do 2 days. We would do the kids on one day, and totally separate, the adults another day. Try to do 25 matches each. I would do the kids event, like a kids fitness fair. And then the adult event, we keep the same. Good little mix of 21 and over section, bring the bar back, even more than before.
Yeah. Definitely.
Need a true main event.
I thought weed would do better than alcohol in this day and age, but I guess it's still alcohol.
Here's the problem.
I don't know, people love drinking.
People love drinking.
And drinking's very expensive very quick. So I'm not much of a drinker, but let me tell you. Okay, so we rolled this blunt. I'm good, actually. I'm going to clip it.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Okay, so we rolled this blunt, and we've been smoking this for like 2 hours. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we still have some. We're going to smoke this till the end of the podcast, and we'll be pretty done with it. That's between 2 to 3 people. A blunt is what? You want to call it a gram? 1.2 grams? Yeah. Okay, so what do you think that is? $15 worth of weed?
Something like that.
All right, so with 3 people, we smoked $15 worth of weed for 3 hours. If you get 1 drink, that's $15.
Right.
And you
That's it.
can't have 1 drink. You got to have 3 drinks.
I could. I'm a lightweight. I could have one.
Yeah. You must have been an easy alcoholic.
Yeah.
No, but when you were drinking all the time, probably a higher tolerance.
No, because I liked really heavy drinks. I didn't like the light girl drinks.
Gotcha.
I liked old man drinks.
Old fashioned.
Yeah.
A Tom Collins.
No, I really like the dirty martini.
Dirty martini.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Yeah, I go out, I want to have 3 drinks. Well, that's $50 right there. And if I'm at an expensive place, oh my God, once Amazura in Queens, $27 for a 10-ounce cup.
Mm.
I was like, that's crazy.
That's
if you have
absurd.
2 drinks, that's $60.
It's like where you're paying at a strip club.
Yeah.
For that, fucking give me a hand
tits.
job or
There's just no
something.
tits in your face. That's the only difference.
Right.
It's like, where's the boobs?
Red Bull and vodka is like $25 or something.
Yeah. It's like, at least you're
Yeah,
going
it's
to
like-
see a show with
It's
it.
a single ounce of vodka.
They weigh it. They're like 1
Sure
ounce
do.
of vodka. They sure do. There's no generous pour at the strip
No.
club.
No.
No, they
No-
have like the,
no heavy
the
hands.
exact shot, where they like it stops it automatically at an
Exact
ounce.
shot.
Yeah.
They're like, this is all computerized. You get 1 ounce of alcohol.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, they do that at like Applebee's too, though. It's
I
Yeah,
guess
but you know,
the-
like if finagle it with giving people buybacks, which is illegal, but you do it anyway.
everything is illegal now. In
Well,
the future, in the future,
buybacks
nothing.
I definitely understand in a way because like you don't want to get somebody inebriated where they're going home and killing someone or themselves, and that's a fine line for bartending. That's why I stopped bartending because I'm like,
can't.
I could send somebody home to their death right now.
I always hated not knowing when the buyback was coming. Like you're like 3. They give you buy 3 drinks, they give you a buyback, and then you get another 3 drinks, and then they don't give you a buyback. It's like why did I get buyback the first 3 drinks?
There's no metric to it.
Yeah,
it's
just to
not
keep you in there.
It's just random.
Just to keep
They
you in
wanna
there.
keep you in
And then you
there.
had 3 more drinks, and they're like, dude, you had 7 drinks. Calm
I think
down.
you're good. You
So
don't
think
need
about
any
that.
more. No buyback.
So Jeremy, think about that. It's not uncommon for someone to go out and have 7 drinks.
Probably
No, not
No,
uncommon
it's
at
not
all.
uncommon at all, right? Especially, let's say I'm partying all night, 4 or 5 hours.
That's different. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
If I had a drink an hour,
Yeah.
that's 5 drinks times $15. That's $75-$80.
It's a lot of money.
And we still come back
Stupid.
to that we smoked $15 worth of weed in that time.
It's so stupid.
Right, we smoked $15 worth of weed. So is weed more prevalent now? Sure, but are you going to make more money off weed? No. And I think that became the problem with weed. They thought it's like, oh, everyone's going to be smoking. Look how much money's made off. And it's like, well, yes, but you can only smoke so much
Yeah.
before you just go to sleep.
right.
Literally.
Literally, it's
Or
like,
eat yourself into a fucking coma.
yeah, you can only smoke so much. I think the place where you can make money is edibles. Because
Definitely.
you can
Why?
wind, because it's so little, it's easy to eat them. You could wind up
Eating the whole thing because it's so good.
and then just falling asleep.
Yeah, getting hammered,
Yeah.
falling asleep.
The weed
Best
you have
dreams of your
to,
life, best sleep you've ever had.
weed you actually have to smoke it through.
Right.
You could eat like 100 milligram pack of edibles
Yeah, and they got drinks and everything, so it's
Oh,
like you
easily.
could do whatever you want.
Easily.
easily.
Typically on purpose.
Yes.
But that blunt is probably only 15 milligrams of THC.
Right. You think so?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
No.
I'd say more than that.
Oh, can we look it up? Can you look
I
it
don't
up,
know.
Kerry?
No.
Because I think it's
Look
like
it up. How much THC is in a
I
joint?
think it depends what kind of.
Just look at it generally. It'll give a general estimate. You're gonna be like how Joe Rogan has young Jamie, young Kerry.
Okay.
Stella one, young Kerry.
The stellar one.
The Stella one.
because
Young.
I think they say on like disposables and like that kind of stuff, like it's like for a 3-second pull is like 1.5 gram or ounces or whatever
Grams
of
THC.
THC.
Okay. The average joint contains about 1/3 of a gram of cannabis. We estimate that average joint contains about 40 milligrams of THC.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole joint. 40 milligrams of THC. That's not a lot.
Right.
You
yeah,
take
no,
100
you have to
milligrams.
you have
A
to
blunt
work
probably
to
a
get
little
high
more.
on smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
a blunt
40,
probably a little more because it's a little.
okay, call the blunt 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
you don't take it at once, the blunt.
No.
If I was by myself, a blunt could last me almost a whole day.
Even if you smoke it straight through, it's still taking
But an
45
edible,
minutes.
if I took the other day I took a 50 milligram edible, it just was like chilling. You know, and I know when your tolerance is high, you
So
said you take a
bad.
crazy amount, which
Crazy.
is nuts. And it depends though, because I'll take a shout out to Planet Nug talking about sponsors.
Yeah.
They sponsored Valhalla.
Their shit's really
They
good.
sponsor Token Choke. They said they're down to sponsor
The next event.
the
or
next
whatever
event.
we do,
So we'll
yeah.
get. You know what? Let me talk to them. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll stop in Planet Nug. But Planet Nug's edibles, I get the Wild brand, and their 10 milligrams is like you got fucked up from their 10.
Oh, I was hammered. I was really hammered. I was like, fucking, damn.
I remember I pulled them
I
out the
felt like I
next
was
day.
sick for a second.
I was like, Kerry, you want an edible? She's like, which ones? And I pulled them out. She's like, no.
I'm good on that, thank you.
They have
Those threw
really
me for a
good, really good pre-rolled blunts there. The backwoods
Oh, do
ones.
they?
Yeah, it's
Ooh, I
like a
didn't see
it's
that.
like a 2 gram blunt
I
with
didn't see that either.
rolled in keef and like dipped in oil.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like the way
Is
that
it with the
sounds.
glass?
Packwoods?
The
Packable?
glass.
brand?
Packwoods?
Backwoods.
Yeah.
Packawoods.
Packwoods.
Instead of backwoods.
Yes, instead of backwoods.
Packawoods, yeah. Those shits are pretty
Does it have
good.
like the
glass
glass?
tip?
Yes.
Oh,
That's
nice.
the-
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Those are good. But yeah, the weed.
We're
thing.
connoisseurs
And think
of
about that.
weed.
Even that thing. Think about how much you pay for it and how hard it is to smoke that whole thing.
Yeah, you're working on that for a good day.
A good day you're working
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then drinkers usually drink all the time. I think the cheapest alcoholic is probably a wino. They get a $10 bottle of wine.
Probably,
They
yeah.
polish that shit
You
off.
can get like a bottle of Georgie vodka for
And they
$10.
usually have red
Oh, wow.
faces. Their faces are
I don't
red.
know. I was never an alcoholic, and when I used to drink,
Yeah, they definitely
Uh,
make cheap liquor.
I guess that's
Oh
true.
yeah. Oh yeah. You could go in the liquor store and there's the regular, there's bottom shelf, mid, top
Top
shelf.
shelf.
And then there's like really fucking expensive shit. Like
Yeah,
that's
there's-
not even top shelf. It's like way more expensive. Like
There's the
wild.
stuff that's like a step above rubbing alcohol.
yeah, like you're literally light it on
That we could
fire.
have used in the fire pit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could literally light that shit on fire. And,
Oh my
and
God.
it's so crazy.
When I was a kid,
Or it's
I-
just really like the way that they make it. It's so so good, and so it's not at all like got any kind of garbage in it. That's why it's worth the money. So it might not be that the proof of it is not so high. It could be the quality of the liquor. I used to
Like
be a
potato
I used to be
vodka?
a bartender, so I wasn't just an alcoholic, guys. Like there's a reason why I know a little bit about liquor. I used to bartend.
and you got higher in your own supply.
Of course, he did. I bartended. I was fucking had a great time.
What I forget which
It's
rule.
such a good time.
I forget what rule that is, but that is one of
That's
Biggie's
supposed
rules.
to.
I think that's the first one.
Rule
Well, it
number
wasn't
one.
my
No.
supply.
Rule number one.
It was their bar supply.
We're gonna have to look this up, guys. The 10
Ten
crack
crack
commandments.
commandments. We will
Yeah.
look that up.
I know, never get. I know you heard this before. No, rule number 4. I know you heard this before. Never get high on your own supply. That's rule
Never
number
look that
4.
up.
Okay.
Yeah. So rule number 4
So
is
what's
never
rule
get.
number 1?
Hold on. I better find that out right now.
Rule number 1. I don't know, but Biggie's right. Rule number 4 is don't get high on your own supply. Rule number 10. A strong word called consignment. Strictly for live men, not for freshmen. So if you start working on consignment, you gotta know they're gonna want their money. Rain, sleet, hail, snow.
Never trust nobody.
Never trust nobody
number
because
one.
your moms will set your ass up properly cast up
Yeah.
for the fast buck to light that ass up.
Never let no one
She'll
know.
be sitting in your bushes waiting to light that ass up. Number 2, rule number 2,
Never let no one know.
never let no one know how much dough you hold.
Yep. Keep family and business completely
Be
separated. Yep,
This
or not
rule's
completely, just
completely
separated.
underrated.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Rule number 4, that's don't get high on your own supply.
Never keep no weight on you.
Oh,
I don't-
never keep no weight on you. Your cats that hold jobs could hold ounces too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's rule,
I don't know where the
rule
rest
number
are.
5?
Oh, here. I don't know where the rest are. There's not 10 of them, so I'm like, I don't know where they all are. They only put like 6 of them.
Yeah, then it's like now,
The 6 most important.
Guys,
Now
they,
go to
you guys
Wikipedia.
lost me there.
who could follow all 10 commandments anyway, Kerry? There's so many of them.
Well, it's very hard.
It's very hard.
The religious ones or biggies. They're both extremely hard.
Okay, cool.
We'll never let any rule. Let's go top 10.
Top
Yeah.
10.
We're gonna just do the 10.
Top 10 crack commandments.
10 crack commandments. Never let no one know how much dough you hold. Right. Okay. Never let anyone know your next move. Okay. Never trust no one on. Right. Your mom will set that ass up properly, cast up. No. Rule number 4 is don't get high on your own supply.
Okay.
So
No,
then
you've
I don't know
heard-
why that list was that it.
No, you've heard this before.
Google.
Never get high on your
Yeah.
own supply.
Google.
Never sell where you live. I don't care if they want an ounce, tell them bounce.
Yep.
You never sell no crack where you rest at. I don't care if they want an ounce, tell them bounce. Number 6, that goddamn credit, forget it. You
Yeah.
think a crackhead paying you back shit, forget it. Right? He's like, you think a crackhead's paying you back? Forget it. And this rule is so underrated. 7, keep your family and business completely separated. Number 8, never keep any crack on you. Right? Make sure your guys hold. Rule number 9 should have been number 1 to me. If you're not getting bagged, stay the fuck away from police. If people think you're snitching, they ain't trying to listen. They'll be sitting in your kitchen waiting to start hitting. Number 10, a strong word called consignment, strictly for live men, not for fresh men.
That is the 10 crack commandments.
And that's the 10 crack commandments as
Thank you,
as
Manimal.
told by Biggie Manimal.
Thank you,
Manimal
Biggie
Smalls. You know what's
Manimal
funny?
Smalls.
93? 93. That's when
What?
Biggie and Puff came out with that song where they're rapping and they're in like black and white.
Hypnotize?
Maybe it was
Maybe,
Hypnotize.
No, because Hypnotize
No, it
was
was a
on
different
Live After
song.
Death.
93.
Oh, I can't
They
remember
did
what that was. I know what you're talking about. They had like that weird.
They were in like the tunnel.
Like,
I
yeah.
forget because I was watching it in
Is that
jail at the
bullshit and
time.
party?
Maybe.
Do you want me to look it up?
So at the time, I think I was like 14 or 15, and I was in juvie. I was in Jersey. I got arrested for something. I was at Hudson County Correctional, and I was fat at the time, so I was like 230 as like a 14 or 15-year-old kid, and it was this like skinny dude I used to hang out with in jail, and we're watching that video, and he's like, "Yo, that's me and you Biggie, I'm Diddy." I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm not black, but I got what you're saying. I am from Brooklyn, so yeah,
That's me and you.
it's me and you, bro."
You make fans everywhere.
Fans everywhere, except for the dude that I had to get into a fight with over my milk and cookies. Fucking guy.
This
Sounds
is
like
the
listen.
same staying?
You were
Yeah,
not
same
taking my
stay.
cookies.
Yeah, I was
You
in
were
for a
taking
little
my
bit.
milk. Sorry.
So yeah, because it's juvie, so instead of giving you like cigarettes, you get milk and cookies. So you gamble for your milk and cookies, and I was like, "Fuck you! You're not getting my milk and cookies. I'm a fat kid."
no
And
way
the guy-
you're taking my shit.
I know the guy who tried to put me in the $1 million dream because I was like, "Oh, interesting. I was in the $1 million dream."
I do watch
I knew it
wrestling.
before I never trained when I was fat.
Would the $1 Million Dream really work?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That's a
You
real
can get it.
submission?
Yeah, it's a real submission. It's a kesatage. There's a Japanese term for it because in the gi it works very well.
Okay, because you have like a half Nelson, right?
Nelson, and you're pulling across.
And
So
that-
with the gi,
their arm.
it's almost like an Ezekiel essentially,
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
from behind them.
Mm.
So what you call it? So it works good with the gi. It works good with the gloves. No gi, it's tough because the guy has to be the right thickness for you to get your other forearm to finish him on that side. Because one arm's around your head and this one's on the inside.
Right,
to
and you
cut
have
that
like,
off.
almost like a gift wrap on the other
You're
side,
almost
right?
gift wrapping him, yeah. So that's the $1 Million Dream, and I have to pull this arm close to that side of the throat to choke you with it. I'll give it a $1 Million Dream demonstration, guys. Stay tuned on BJJ Fanatics, Manimal's $1 Million Dream series.
That's
Okay,
it.
shout out to Ted DiBiase.
What other wrestling moves would work?
I got a camel clutch once, but if you have the guy's back and then he flattens, and you just jump up in camel clutch, you could get that. I've been trying to hit the figure 4 forever, but I haven't successfully.
Like actually step through for it, or like,
Yeah,
or
like,
just like
get-
from like a 50-50 or something?
Doesn't matter. Anyway
Any way
that
you
you
can
can
get
try
it.
to set up a figure 4 leg lock, I'll take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boston Crab you could get.
Okay.
The belly down ankle lock
That makes
can
sense.
start to turn into the...
Was that Ken Shamrock's move?
That's what I feel
he
like.
used to
Yeah.
do
He
it,
did an
yeah.
ankle lock, right?
He had the straight ankle, because if you knew a straight ankle before anyone knew it, you finish a lot of guys with it.
Yeah.
It almost... Certain things is like an arms race. So, like, if no one knows leg locks, and you're great with leg locks. That's why everyone was doing them for a minute. Because if you have a good heel hook and no one knows heel hook defense, you could spam that. And even if you're not technically as good as that guy, like you don't know as much, you could beat that guy because you just try to make your game so that you take him into one spot that he don't know how to defend. But after you give it a couple years, the game catches up to what you're doing. And then
What's the move that...
that's why I went back to all straight ankle lock. Straight is great. I was like, I'm keeping it straight, keeping it great. The heel hook, while it's good, dangerous for your opponent because you could break him harder, so you could really fuck him up more. The counters are also more. The straight ankle lock has like 2 counters, 3 counters. The ankle lock, the heel hook, depending where it's at, has all these different counters that to learn that game could be not a waste of time, could be very valuable, but could be time I'm not willing to commit. So if I can just defend the initial onslaught, if I go for a heel hook, now I'm putting myself into a game that I don't know if I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could just defend the first move and then play a different game, oh, I don't want to play that game. I don't like checkers. Can we play chess? Could we play checkers instead of chess? Right, so I may not want to do that. So if you start engaging in someone else's game, that's where you get fucked up a lot. Think about when you roll. You start engaging in what they want to do.
It's like with anything that like is like a one-on-one. If you literally, if they, well, I mean, really anything. Like if you're playing a game, and even if you get another team to play their game, you know, your game, that's a completely different mindset.
Especially if that's not a game they're used to playing.
Yeah.
So like you said, like you're not a defensive pool player.
Oh, I made somebody play my game my first match. She was a slow player, very slow. Took like a lot of time, and I was like, not fucking happening with me. I watched her whole first match. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. And I made her shoot fast, and it didn't end well for her. For that reason, I 3-0'd her. It was really quick.
You try to speed her up. That's
what I made her shoot fast. And everybody's like, she shot really fast with you. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't gonna let her shoot slow. I hate that shit.
How'd you do that?
I just shot fast, and it was like I was making all these shots in, and I was shooting on fire. And it usually encourages you when someone's shooting really well. You don't want to shoot worse. You want to try to shoot better. So she was trying to keep up with me, and
she was non-physically pressuring her.
Right.
Remember, the first range of combat is psychological range. So there's a lot of ranges of combat.
Is that from Sun Tzu?
No, it might be from Klaus. Von Klaus, actually. So the von Clausewitz writes an art of war that's really good in the 1800s. But whatever. So, what did I say there? You totally did. Psychological distance.
Pressure.
So there's a lot of pressure you could exert without ever making contact or being in range to make contact. You see a dude over there. You cross the street. That was a psychological battle. That was psychological distance of fighting, right? If you're in the neighborhood, you see someone there, I look at him, he looks at me, across, we just had a psychological battle, right? That's psychological distance. Then that starts to come into closer and closer contact till you're grappling.
Right.
You know, although I guess Diddy would say there's even closer contact, but I never engaged in that with a man anyway. So,
I just rewatched your orgy video.
Dude, so funny.
So fucking great.
We could just do some comedy like that if that's easy to do.
I love comedy.
Me too. We tried to do the over 40 grappler 3 times already.
Yeah.
No, we got to do like
what do you
come
want
up
to do?
with. I told you. I think we should come up with like segments.
I got plenty.
Some comedic segments.
I like the Adopt a White Belt program.
That's funny.
That's funny. I mean, we got to get a little crew together for that. Or I could play everyone. I'll just put different uniforms on. I could just be me as the black belt, and then me as the white belt. And I'm like, we rank from white belt to black belt here, and no belts in between. What? Like every week we give them a stripe. So we adopt the white belt, and we partner them up with an experienced black belt, and for just one stripe a day, you could feed a hungry white belt. Just one stripe, and he'll drop into a school. He's like, I'm 183 stripe white belt.
They're like, what?
And when you get your black belt is when the tape completely covers your belt. So Kerry will come up, and it'll be like after 11 years of training, and there's one little sliver, and we make eye contact, and I cover the sliver, and it's a black belt now.
Nice.
We don't rank in between, because I found every rank other than white and black belt are annoying. If you're not a black belt, you're a white belt. Stop.
There is do you know what people what is the standards of belts?
So here's the problem with any type of ranking system. There's several ways to think about athletic endeavors. There's the pure experiential thing, like yoga. You go to yoga, there's no quantification of your skill level there unless you're an instructor.
Yeah.
You either instruct in yoga or
Like you're taking the class.
you're just practicing yoga. Yeah, you're just there.
There's no yoga Olympics.
There's no yoga Olympics. There's no standard. There's no one no.
The yoga cup.
It's a bunch of middle-aged women that took ayahuasca.
the best.
I mean, it's bodybuilding.
It is. I hated it. It's too boring for me. I was like, this shit sucks.
What, yoga or bodybuilding?
Yoga. It was so boring.
Bodybuilding is a little subjective too.
Yeah.
Right? What are you looking for?
Wants to be the best at working out.
I'm not trying to be
that's
the
CrossFit.
best at
Exactly,
exercising.
not me.
You know what's funny though? I gotta be the only guy that did CrossFit as a strength and conditioning program to rehab my shoulder. The only, because everyone's like, didn't you mess your shoulder up? I was like, no, this helped actually my shoulder if I just don't go crazy. If I do more strict pull-ups, only kip if you need to for a comp, or if you're practicing them. It actually helped. Overhead, not too crazy heavy. I was like, it actually helped me. Muscle ups helped my shoulder a lot. The rings. Bar is tough because one shoulder goes up quicker than the other. But on the muscle up, on the rings, I can separate them. And I actually wound up getting pretty strong shoulders and flexible from that. Well, flexible enough for me. But, Jeremy, how long ago did you close your CrossFit gym?
Year and a half.
Year and a half? Fucking, see, you weren't even in it at the best time. I will say, when I think about it, I was in CrossFit 2012 to 2017.
Yeah. I opened my first one in 2014.
Dude, which one was that?
CrossFit Quorum.
Okay, I remember that. I wonder if you did my events. I used to throw the Epic Showdown. I did one at Floyd Bennett Field. But I used to do a CrossFit series. And at the time, it was fucking super easy to do. CrossFit was popular. Guys were always looking for stuff to do. I, of course, set up a great show. It was easier to get sponsors back then. Now I feel like I fight tooth and nail to get a sponsor.
That is. It's a fucking battle.
Yeah. So.
Well, so many opportunities for people to sponsor things now. You have to have some credibility in your ability to make that for them.
Yeah, I just think the inflation was way less.
You think so?
I mean, I hate to say the economy's bad, but
It is.
if you have a lot of money, you're good. You have assets that protect you against inflation. So, if you have real estate, precious metals, whatever it may be, you're pretty protected against inflation if you're rich. If you're poor, you usually get government subsidies, so you're usually a little protected. If you're middle class now, you're getting crushed more than ever. So if you have a small business, you're very wary of how you spend that money.
Yeah.
Whereas if the economy's booming and there's less inflation,
You're like, fuck it.
you say, fuck it, yeah. I think about all the money I've spent in my life, and I'm like, I would never spend like that now just because things are
wild.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I feel like things are scarcer, but the numbers don't lie about it.
No, it's wild.
You know,
the economy's never been like this.
So think about
maybe during Obama, but
Obama.
the economy was
was
pretty
bad
shitty.
when I had the business, the CrossFit gym, because I was paying so much in taxes. And the problem with any kind of government taxes is it only affects the middle of the road business, right? Poor people usually don't have a business just by the nature of the theory, right? If you had a business, you had some money to start it, right? So if I'm a small business owner, any kind of legal complexity only hurts the small business owner, because if you're a big business, you have enough money to either pay for lawyers or be registered in another locale. So you think that, which a Nike is registered in California, they might have a branch of that business there, which is probably then licensed out to Nike Overlord in Aruba, where there's a 1% tax rate.
No.
So then they're like, oh, well, what'd you make in Nike America? Well, Nike America made zero.
Yeah.
We had to pay everything we made to Nike Overlord in Aruba. And so those big companies can easily hide their taxes. That's why I think it's such a joke when people are like, we're going to tax the rich. And I was like, yeah, I was like, first of all, it's all the rich that support you.
Yeah.
So that's a lie. How could you tax the rich? You're going to tax the guy on stage with you? Yeah, okay. He knows
Liar.
that
You're
any
just
tax,
saying words.
No, but he knows that any tax on the rich is going to be deflected by him.
Yeah.
He has trusts.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say you're wealthy. All right. I have several trusts.
Yeah.
So my assets are protected. I don't actually own anything. Everything's owned by my trusts and my company's in those trusts. So when you go to tax me, you can't tax anything that doesn't come out of the trust. So I could have $1 billion in there and it's all good. So the wealthy have tax protected assets. So when someone's talking about taxes or taxing the rich, they're like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually make any money that you could tax. So that's why the wealthy pay very little in taxes. And then the middle class, let's say you have a job for the government, you got to pay money in taxes of the money that you just got paid from my taxes. The stupidest, right? Government job.
Yeah.
You work for the government. Where does government money come from? Most of it comes from your tax dollars. So you're taxing the money that came from taxes. How many fucking times can you tax this money?
Yeah.
You know, so any kind of complexity is a tax that usually the middle class person pays because wealthy people get out of it and poor people don't pay any taxes other than the fines and penalties that are hidden taxes. And that's my hate for taxation. Repeal the 16th Amendment. I would run on one platform. Repeal the 16th. What about roads? What about roads? They say. Kerry, follow me here. What about the roads? Asshole. Listen to me. Listen to me here. Let me clear this thought out. What about the roads is what they say. If you don't tax, what about the roads? Well, let's take a little numbers play here. If I make $100,000 a year and I pay $30,000 in taxes, that's $30,000 a year. That goes to the government to do whatever the fuck they do with it. If I had that extrapolated the course of my 40-year work life, that's almost $1 million. I would buy a fucking helicopter. I wouldn't need a road. You know what I mean? Well, I don't I would have so much more to solve my problem with that question shows how little you know about how the government mismanages your money. Because for $40 billion they spent to fix the Belt Parkway to make it worse than it is, we could have all just been like, yeah, I got $5 on it, bro. And it would have got probably done faster. We could have hired a private company to think about roads here. A lot of these roads are private. These aren't all public roads. Who built these roads? The government doesn't build much.
Yeah.
They maintain it maybe. But even ask your sister, when they make a road, they probably hire also a private company to do stuff too.
They contract out.
So let's say part of the job, you have to build a road. And let's say they're like, oh, well, we don't do tarring.
Yeah.
Well, we hire a private company to then put the tar down. The same way you could have did that with your community without needing to give the government all this money to add levels of complexity and bureaucracy above it. Which would mean that people then have to actually do more creative endeavors to make money. So, because it would take away the biggest employer in America is the government, and you'd lose a lot of government jobs. That's why people are scared of Trump's education policy. Because if he privatizes education, then you put more scrutiny on the public education system, which obviously sucks. If it didn't suck, you wouldn't have a private school option. It wouldn't exist. If one thing is so good, there's no other option. So we only have cell phones, right? No one makes a little smoke signal device in your pocket because you don't need it, right? So if you have another option, it's because you need it, right? People want a private school option. People want homeschool options. People want Montessori schools, all these different types of educational systems because public school sucks. If it didn't suck, we would have no other option. So where I'm going with that is if they privatize the education system, it hurts all those people that have jobs that suck. Remember, you could get away as a teacher if you have tenure. You could rape a kid and still keep your job, which a lot of them do. Oh, you ever see what happened with the principal of Manhasset? Hugh Jackman did a movie about him. And remember that movie? And they embezzled like $11 million out of Manhasset.
Wow.
And so, over the course of how long he was there, they're like, man, this principal's doing all right. I mean, he has a mansion, fucking Rolls Royce. They're like, wow, Manhasset pays good, huh?
Yeah.
Which they don't. So Because remember,
They don't.
which they don't. They pay teachers shitty.
Yeah.
The principal is at a mediocre salary because remember, everything in Long Island is done by district. It's not a big district. That means you don't have a lot of money.
Makes
What's the
sense.
highest paid district in Long Island?
I don't know. Oh.
Take a guess. It's not a
It's a
great.
union
No,
free.
I'm thinking. So I'm thinking somewhere out east.
Nope.
Really? Hempstead?
Uniondale.
Oh wow.
Uniondale's the highest paid school district. Why?
Because when you said not out east, I was like, okay, well then that's
Why?
county.
Because they have the largest district and the most funding.
Wow.
Right, so they pay the most. So now the smaller your school district, the less they can pay.
Wow.
Union free doesn't mean what you think it is. They still have unions. What union free means is that they don't ally with another district.
Okay.
I've looked this up before, just so you know. So when it's like union free school district, I thought that meant you don't have a union. It's not what it means.
Okay.
There's a charter in Long Island that union free means that you don't. Because what I guess they used to do is bus kids in.
Okay.
And if you live in a nice neighborhood in Long Island, you know how Long Island is about
Yeah.
their borders.
Yeah.
If you go one block over